We'll open with a prayer and then say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll get started. Bless us all to make wise decisions for our community, our county, our state, and our country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. That was short. We may run through our office. Okay, if you will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all for coming, candidates and voters. And we have some candidates that hadn't arrived. We'll start those. State of Tennessee House of Representatives. We have two people running. I'm going through these alphabetical order. The first candidate is James Creek.
Well, here I am. I don't know.
5 minutes.
My time's up already. I don't know if many of you know me. There's actually a lot of you who do know me. I'm from Houston County, spent half my life here, and actually married into the Coleman family, married Vicki Coleman, daughter of Joyce and Donald Coleman. And it was actually, we met at Austin Peay. I got out of the military, that's where I met her. And when she finally got me to Houston County, you know, Kendall Coleman, he looked at me, he said, well, you got here, you know you're going to die here now, right? And I said, well, I guess I'm okay with that. He said, well, the only way you can make it easier on yourself is if you're mistaken to change your last name to Coleman. I said, no, I'm not worried about that. But a lot of things have taken place. I've been politically active. I originally come from Idaho. And a lot of concerns, as many of you are looking at the numbers here, you're concerned about what's taking place not only in our small county, but also in our state and our federal government. So with that, there's some things that I'd like to bring up, things that I think that need to happen in Houston County, and it seems like we get ignored. And in my campaigning, District 74 is very large, Humphreys, Houston, and part of Montgomery County. I do find some elected officials, or not the officials themselves, but people helping with their campaign, knocking on doors and all of that. You are ignored. Houston County is by and large ignored, and that's very troubling because we count too. They say, well, you need to spend your time in Humphreys County or Houston County. Get those votes. That's where the numbers are at. But I'm here for us, for Houston County. And with that, I'm going to read off some numbers. There's cards. If you need more information about them, I'm not going to spend my 5 minutes there. But the Houston County population and the percentage-wise from the last census, how many under 18 is in our county? Houston County is 23%. Humphreys 22.9%, 27%. Better numbers, the poverty level in Houston County is 21.7%, where in Humphreys it's 14%, and we're at 16%. So there's a lot of things that we could develop, we could do here. We've got a wonderful industrial park. We've got county leaders that are willing to grow the business here. And what I see is my kids, when they're looking for jobs, and entry-level jobs, Mom and Dad's got to give them gas money to either drive to Humphreys County to work at McDonald's or to drive to Clarksville. By the time that they finally get their paycheck, if it's going in the gas tank, it's lost. One other thing, I just received this in the mail. Anybody familiar with this card? I just got it in the mail at our house, and it's concerning a job fair. I'm upset about this. Okay, and maybe you will be too after I get done. This is our current state representative is working in conjunction with the Department of Labor and Workforce Development for a job fair. Telling everybody in District 74, we're going to help you get jobs. But guess where the job fair is going to be held at? Dixon, Tennessee. You know, my question for John is, why can't we have a job fair in Humphreys County or Montgomery County? And I went on the website and looked it up. It'll be next month. It's the veterans of Houston, Humphreys, and Stewart County are going to put on the job fair. And so I question the decision here. And then the question is, how many people receive this card? Because I know a lot of people that are looking for jobs. I myself, I do have a full-time job at the wallboard plant. I'm supposed to be there right now, boss. Well, I'll come for you, so you talk about, all your constituents in Houston County. And so with that, I do have a full-time job. I know what it means to spend the hours on rotating shift, what it means to take care of your needs as a locksmith. I own Houston County Lock and Key. I've done some work for the state. I've worked for the county, the city, as well as adjoining counties and taking care of people. But with that, my time goes
4 minutes. Yeah, you got another 45 seconds.
Make it quick, Joe.
Well, we can't let everybody run over to us.
That's exactly right. But I do appreciate your vote, your consideration. I do think there's some changes that we need to have made, not only in Houston County, but the whole District 74 for the betterment of everyone. And I thank you for your time.
I won't pretend to laugh. Now, come up here and pronounce your last name for us.
All right, thank you very much, sir. My name is Keith Slappa, and I am also a candidate on the Republican ticket for State House 74th District. As you might guess from my last name, I am not a native Tennessee. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and came here in 1981 when I was stationed at Fort Campbell. I served 8 years there at Fort Campbell. When I retired or left the Army, I took what was supposed to be a 6-month job as a civilian with the unit that I worked with there, and it turned into 23 years. I retired in 2010, and since then have taught at a technical college in Montgomery County, North Central Institute, which is a 2-year college to prepare people for work in the aviation industry. With limited time, I'm going to get straight into the meat of the issues here. And Jay is right. The jobs are a big thing. As he said, the industrial park, great setup there with that industrial park. Some of the limiting factors in getting companies in there, access to the interstate. 374 was a major highway built in Montgomery County, and it ends at Highway 79. It's supposed to come all the way down here to 149. If we can get that done, and right now TDOT says it's not a priority. Well, I think it is. If we can get that finished, that will give the industrial park better access to not only Interstate 24, but to the barge point facility, which is being built in Clarksville. The other thing it will do is when some of these companies that are coming into Montgomery County, Hancock, Tire, there's going to be a lot of peripheral companies coming in. I promise you right here, right now, I will do my best to work with Mark Green and the others if I'm elected to get some of those companies in here to Houston County. We need the jobs here. Also, I know there's a lot of farmers here. One of the things that the governor and state legislature is pushing is to increase farm output. But I think it's something like 20% over the next 10 years. We can do that, but what do we need? We need access to get your products to market. Most of the people here looking at this audience are my age. If you're like me, you don't like computers, I'd be good to get a computer turned on and not get the blue screen of death. The younger generation, the kids, they know the computers. They can use the computers to access information, to get productivity up, to watch the trends and things like that. So we need to get better access through Houston and Humphreys County for internet access. And even in parts of the rural parts of Montgomery County, that is an issue that I've heard talking to some of the people in the district. I put a push card on everybody's seat. If anybody did not get one and would like one, please see me afterwards. I know there's a lot of people here, so I'll keep it short. I thank you for your support, and definitely one of us needs to beat Mr. Tidwell in November. Thank you.
We have 2 candidates here that are registered that are running for circuit court judge. Again, in alphabetical order, Ms. Lockhart Mash.
Dr. Nash, and my candidate for the Circuit Court Judge position, Division 3. We have 3 circuit judges in our judicial district, and that's comprised of Cheatham, Dixon, Houston, Humphreys, and Stewart counties. We have Judge Robert Birch is Division 1. He's retiring, and David Wolf is in his position, and no one's running against him, so he'll be judge. Larry Wallace is Division 2, no one's running against him, so he will continue to be judge. Division 3 is Judge George Sexton, and he's retiring, and that's an open position, and that's the position for which I'm running. I'm a Cheatham County native, and lived there all my life. Married a gentleman in Stewart County, moved to Stewart County. I was a probation officer and a child abuse investigator, and I went to law school at night, National School of Law. Was in private practice with my father for a short while in Ashland City, and Kenneth Atkins hired me as a district attorney. And I've been a district attorney since 1990. I've tried well over 100 jury trials. I've tried a death penalty case. I've tried numerous murder trials, one of which I tried here in Houston County, the Anthony Braddock case. I have been involved with all types of serious criminal cases. In our district, the judges all share the same responsibilities. And last year, there were approximately 5,147 cases filed in this district. And of those cases, about half of those cases were criminal cases. Now, judges handle all sorts of things. They handle chancery court, they handle adoptions, divorces, criminal matters. If you're involved in a car wreck and you sue someone, a circuit judge could handle that case, and they handle the jury trials. And most of what circuit court judges do are jury trials, criminal jury trials. And I have a lot of experience in that area. I prosecuted in all 5 counties of this district, and I consider the 23rd Judicial District as my community. There's a lot of great communities in each one of these counties, and I'm very familiar with all of these counties. And I see several law enforcement officers here present who have dealt with me as a prosecutor, and you can talk with them and they can tell you what my experience is. But starting September the 1st, that judge who wins that position will walk into Houston County and start trying jury trials. On the docket, there's already numerous criminal jury trials set, civil jury trials set, divorces set in Ms. Patsy's office, and then that judge goes to Stewart County. And I was in Stewart County today checking, and there's several serious jury trials already set. So you want a person who has experience in sitting in jury trials and trying these serious cases, because on September the 1st, this is not an on-the-job training course. This is a job that on September the 1st, that person needs to be able to get on that bench, be aware of what's happening, know how jury trials go, and handle serious matters before and make tough decisions before. I graduated from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, then the National School of Law. I also received my Rule 31 Family Law Mediator certification from David Lipscomb's University. So I have a very past, very experience, and I've been preparing for this race since about 2007. I've been putting money away so that I didn't have to have big meet and greets and have people come in and donate, and I prepared myself. I have a very good work ethic, and as a judge, I'm going to prepare myself for each case. And every person coming in, I'm going to treat them, there'll be impartiality, there will not be any bias, and I'm going to listen to them. So I would respectfully ask for you to consider. I have a card, I have a website that you can look at. Again, like I said, I'm married, I have a stepdaughter, I live in Dover, I'm a member of the Dover Church of Christ, and I would respectfully ask for your consideration in your vote. Thank you.
Circuit Court Judge Steve Powers.
Hello there, my name is Steve Powers. I'm running for the same division, Division 3, and Suzanne and I work at the same office. I'm one of the Assistant District Attorney Generals. I've been working for Dan Osborne about 10 years at the DA's office. Right now I'm the current child support prosecuting attorney. I started out, I used to tell people that I'm a statistic. I was born at Clarkson Memorial Hospital and survived, but it ain't there no more, so I can't really say that. It's gone. So, but all my family's from Montgomery County, well, most of all my family, 2 cousins here in Cheatham, or in Houston and Dixon and Stewart counties, and I live in Ashland City. When I was about 10 years old, my dad moved to Detroit, Michigan, and got a job in the car factory. He was working out of the train, got laid off there for a few months, and decided that he wanted to do better, so he went up to Detroit and got him a job. That's where I grew up from about 10 years old to about 29 years old. When I lived in Detroit, I went to EMT school and got a job with the City of Detroit Fire Department, working as a paramedic for the fire department there. And I loved my job, but I had 3 sons, and I didn't want them to go to school in Detroit, so I moved back to Montgomery County in 1990, and was looking for a job, and actually Darrell Allison got me a job up in Cheatham County, part-time with the ambulance service, and I worked there part-time for a couple of months, got a full-time job dispatching, and then I got on full-time with the sheriff's office a couple of months later, worked as a deputy for about 10 years, raised my family there in Cheatham County. My boys were about 5 years old when we moved back, and they went to school there in Cheatham. And while I was working at the sheriff's office, I made my way through law school, worked at night, worked days, and went to school at night at the National School of Law. I raised my family, attended First Baptist Church there in Ashland City, served as a deacon for many years. And when I got out of law school, Dan offered me a job out of law school, but I didn't take it. It was a grant position. I was scared to take it because I was scared the federal money would run out. So I opened a law office there in Ashland City and practiced private practice for about 5 years. Did a little bit of every type of litigation that there is. I tried cases, civil and criminal. Got a lot of good experience there. But the next time a position came open over at the DA's office, I took it, and I've been there almost 10 years now. And I love my job. But the reason I think that I'd be a good candidate for the judge is because I'm just a regular person. I've never been involved in politics before. I've raised a family. I have 3 sons. One is a firefighter for the City of Clarksville Fire Department, and one's the manager of a Sonic restaurant over in Pleasantview, where I live at, and my youngest son is in the Air Force. He just graduated from medical school about a month ago, and he's reported to, actually he reports July 1st, but he's in Biloxi, Mississippi at Diesel Air Force Base. He reports there July 1st, active duty as Captain Powers in the U.S. Air Force, and I'm proud of him. So I've made good decisions for my family. If somebody came before me for a family case, a divorce, a custody hearing, or something like that, I feel like I've made good choices for my family. I feel like I could at least point anybody that came before me in the right direction and make good choices for them. As a police officer, I've served 10 years and made a lot of hard decisions for other people's lives. And on the criminal side, I know the criminal law, and so I feel like I've made good decisions in that field. I have good reputation as a police officer. If you ask any of the older police officers, I have qualified now. If you ask any of the older police officers that know me, they'll tell you good things about me. I feel like I get your votes. I see some of those guys here, and I appreciate you checking up on me and finding out whether, what type of person I am, what type of judge I would be as that type of person. I've done a lot of different things over the years, worked a lot of different jobs. Working in the sheriff's office, we don't make much money, or didn't make much money, so I always had to work 2 different types of jobs, so I've always had a lot of contact with different types of people. I feel like I'm a good people person, and that I'd be somebody that would listen and you could talk to and have good results from. You resort to the court for answers. Sometimes nobody goes to the court willingly, usually. Not that I've seen anyway, unless you're in a bad shape and you need some help. And so that's where I would come in, and I feel like I'd make a good judge by being able to have different life experiences. I would be able to help people. I've been telling people, I don't think you're a full-fledged parent until you've gone through the teenage years. My 3 boys were full boys, and so I've been through that decisions, or through that process and had to make those decisions. Something that I'm not proud of. I was divorced 7 years ago, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And sometimes, or I would say a lot of times, people don't go to court for divorce on purpose. And I feel like that if you came before me by having that experience, that would make me a better judge. And I know that when a family is separated, my family didn't go through this situation, but I have a son, I have a grandson that we've had this problem with. And when you split up a family, you're not splitting that mom and dad, you're splitting 2 families up. So my son was looking at every other weekend visitation for my grandson. That means I would only got to see him maybe a couple hours every other weekend. We work it out where we get a lot more visitation than that. But that's something that I've experienced and I've gone through, and I feel like I would be a good judge in that area because I've experienced those things. I sure would appreciate your vote, and I would appreciate you checking up on me. Thank you.
Register of Deeds, Cheryl Moore. Would there be any other candidate for that judgeship here? No, okay. Cheryl Moore will address us now on Register of Deeds.
Wasn't ready for this yet. I thought I was way on down the line.
We give credit where credit's due.
All right.
For anybody that don't know me, my name is Cheryl Foxmore, and I have been serving as Registry of Deeds since 1989. Somebody asked me down from McKinnon Community Center the other night, well, how did you get that job? Did you run for whatever? Because you just always been there. In 1989, the register that was serving then had 1 year left of her term, and she resigned. She remarried. She married a preacher and moved out of state. Well, there was 31 applicants for the job that night. They were standing room only in the courtroom. How I got it, I still catch myself, I don't know. But that gave me my start. And I was ever so grateful to the county commissioners for giving me that start, that I did everything I could to not make them sorry. Well, after my first election, and first off, I want to thank y'all for having us down here, because it takes a lot of planning and a lot of work, and for not having us roll the ball across the floor with our nose or something, just talking. Because my very first election, they put on a Hawaiian luau. And sometimes candidates are like puppets. They know they're going to do whatever you ask them to do at election time. So they have a Hawaiian luau, and I know Mr. Clark remembers it. One of the things they had the candidates to do is do the hula dance. I had 5 opponents that year. Well, I don't remember, probably 20 of us in it, and they would hold their hand over your head as you were doing the hula. I thought, man, I'm getting tired, I'm getting tired, I'm getting tired. And I looked around, and then finally, you'll never guess who was still standing beside me, Mayor Clark. Nobody up there but he and I. And I thought, I am not giving this to him. I got to do the twirls too. And I won 2 bunches of bananas. But it was fun, but really true. You know, you're going to do everything you can. And get up here, and I know the most important jobs are the sheriff's candidates, highway superintendents, but listen, people, this one is important to me. I have done everything I can do. I can't promise you to do any better, but I can promise you that I will continue to do the same job, get the same audit reports as I have the past 25 years. And another thing, I very, very humbly ask you, don't get me to the program. I'm too old to go work somewhere else. But I appreciate y'all's consideration. Anything you can do for me, and I will let Sheriff buy some of my minutes.
I have a note here for the other person for that office. I believe I got Shannon Spears. Is she here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I see. Carol's. That's it. If you would, ma'am. Spears. My secretary's not diligent.
Hello, my name's Shayla Miles Spears, and I've been a resident of Houston County all my life. And I want to thank the the White Oak community for inviting us down here tonight. I'm the daughter of the Francis Arlene Farrell Miles and the late Percy Miles. I'm married to Larry Spears. We've been married for 31 years, and we have 1 son, Joshua. I was employed at Glastonbury Southern Gauge for 25 years, and then I proceeded to the Register of Deeds office for 7 months. I am currently employed at the Houston County EMS, and I've been there for 10 years. I am seeking this office because I feel I am willing and able to fulfill the county's expectations of this elected position. I'd appreciate anything that anyone can do for me, and I'm out there knocking on doors, and I appreciate anything you can do. Thank you.
Well, folks, our next guest is no stranger to you. For County Mayor, our one and only, George Clark. And to show you that everything's on the even par, George and I have already had some words out Just saying.
We sure have enough.
And we're gonna have more for your 5 minutes.
It's good to be here tonight, and I do want to thank the White Oak Community Center for putting this on for myself and for the other candidates, and to allow us to meet with each of you. Houston County, there's a lot going on in Houston County right now. I'd say this last year is probably one of the busiest years that I think I've had since I've been in office. We have a lot of projects. We just made one of the biggest purchases. That was the purchase of a hospital, very needed chief health care here in Houston County. We also, at our industrial park in Christopher, and I can't pronounce your last name either, we talked about job growth. We've done some things in our industrial parks to hopefully improve upon that. We just got through building a $1.4 million industrial spec building. We also got through renovating one of our existing buildings, and we did that a grant for about $250,000. But roads are very important. If you get a road network through here, it will sure make it a whole lot easier for us to run industry. We can do a lot of the infrastructure stuff, but transportation is a big issue with regards to bringing jobs growth. We also built a new ambulance facility. You've been on 49 Highway, you've seen it. This was done with mostly grant money. I think $700,000 was grant. Kind of estimated value of that was all $200,000 to finish it. Also, it houses our ambulance, our fire department. Right beside it, we've got a 100% grant to build a new 911 facility. This facility will take care of the 911 needs here in our county for many years. Beside it, there'll be a 108-foot tower that will go up, working with all of our emergency services. And through the 911 board, we're going to go from analog to digital radio, which will help all of our emergency services here in the county. It will allow us to have much better service. We just got through putting fuel at our airport, and we just let the bids on putting a bathroom facility and a 1-mile walking trail in Tennessee Park. Now, why are we doing this? Tourism can be a big industry for Houston County. We need to work and develop our lake access. And to do that, we do have a plan. We have a 12-phase plan that will work on the general area. And phase 1 was a bathroom facility in the walking trail. And that's been done. And we got a grant to help us do that also. Those bids have gone out, and we'll be landing those in the next couple of months. There's just a lot going on in Houston County. And I enjoy doing the county rep. I want to thank you for allowing me to do that. I enjoy my office. I have a good office staff. I couldn't do it if it wasn't for the ladies in my office. I learned a long time ago. They do the work. I run my mouth. And I cannot say enough about those ladies. But if there's anything that I can do to help you, my office is always open. I'm glad to sit and talk to you. I don't have the answers to everything. Never have. But I am willing to listen. I am a big supporter of the community center. I always have been.
Thank you, George.
We contribute to them through the help of the legislative bodies. Because I think there's a big need for those. Look what we have here tonight. Everybody's coming together. And we do this at White Oak. We do it in McKenna. And we will do it again in Stewart. Because it's my understanding they're coming back up again too. And that's correct. And so, all I can say is I enjoy being the county mayor. I appreciate your vote. And if you see fit to give me that vote, I'll try to do my best to continue to make Houston County a better place, not only for you and your families, but me and my family. Thank you very much.
Amazing that 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wow.
That's a record, George.
You did have talk with him, didn't you?
Okay, folks, next we have 3 candidates for sheriff. Of course, as everybody knows, this is really an important position. What's this? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. Thank you. Somehow, come up here, son. You wasn't checked off of my list here. Well, I know who you were, though. I'll tell you what, to show your heart's mind, what the second
Well, my name is Eric Lehman. I grew up in this county, Houston County. I'm on Yellow Creek. My mom and dad moved here in the 60s. My dad's from Humphreys County. My mom's from Dixon County, a little town called Slady. My mom's side of the family originally came from Cherokee, North Carolina, so I'm actually Indian descendant, Cherokee blood. I've worked a lot of different jobs in a lot of places. Got frustrated with the workforce and census, and I've been cutting timber, raising tobacco, and hitting the cows. And I may not look like a typical farmer, 37 years old, and I'm politically involved because I've seen a lot of complacency go on. And George does do a good job in this county. The mayor does do a good job in this county. But I'm young, I'm ambitious, I'm determined, I have a steel backbone, and I'll keep fighting, I'll keep pushing. I want everything to be fixed, not just on one end of the county. There's roads, it's got potholes in them, and farmers are putting rocks in them so they can drive down the road. But one end of the county is not more important than the other end of the county. There needs to be more recreational things in the county, because there's nothing for the kids to do. They've got the community center, the youth center, the little youth center down there, and it's about the only place in town you can get Wi-Fi except for places. The library, middle of the day. You know, and there needs to be more things happening. There needs to be more business interests. And I've got the ambition, I've got the drive and determination, and I've got the intelligence to go through it. Like my slogan, by the people, for the people. Before I make any decision, I'm going to step outside of that office. Heck of that office up here is 105 degrees. You need some help cutting tobacco? Call me up. I'm used to cutting tobacco. I go out there and do that. You need some help on the farm? Just call me up. Not a problem. I go out there and do things for people and with people. I'm used to hard labor. I'm used to back-breaking work, and they don't mind that at all. And I understand that as a mayor, there's a whole lot of stress. There's a whole lot of stuff. There's tons of stuff. The thing is, I work better under stress. And I'm somewhat aggressive. I will push to make sure the grants come through. I will talk to legislators. I will talk to people. And all I can say is, give me a shot. You give me a shot, I will not disappoint you. In fact, if at any point I think I'm disappointing the people, I'll step down. Not a problem. But I'm going to give it so much of my own determination, so much of my own willpower. You know, I'll be there 24 hours a day. My number's in the book. Look me up. Call me at any time. You know, it doesn't matter if your car's stuck in a ditch or you want to complain about something that's being voted on. I'm here for the people to fight. It doesn't matter what I want. What I want is elected official. It matters what you guys want. What you guys want is what needs to happen. It's your county. It's all of our county. And I can make judgments based on what y'all guys want. And I'm not your typical politician. Sorry, I'm not. You know, I grew up raised by a grandfather, full-blooded Indian. All right? Yeah. I shoot a bow, do all that stuff. I go out, trap, do everything else. It's part of my heritage, and I'm proud of that. But I'm tired of complacent governments. I'm tired of the politics in Washington. I'm tired of throughout the state. I'm tired of everything getting pushed off to one side. I want everybody to come together, just like y'all come together here. And I appreciate this hospitality out here at this community center. And that's one thing it's lacking. I'm young. I was born in 77. I'm 37 years old. That's younger than basically about everybody in here except for 4 or 5. All right. But there's a problem. I come from a traditional family. And there's nobody coming together anymore. There ain't very many community centers like this anymore. And every year comes around, everybody dwindles down. Ain't too many people make homemade apple pies anymore.
4 minutes.
They get in the microwave and do something. Well, you know, I can't do nothing about that, but what I'm saying is I want to bring the county together. And not enough people vote, not enough people take action. They sit and bicker about it and not do something. Well, I've heard that bickering. I've heard that bickering in the last few years, and I decided I'm tired of hearing the bickering and not doing anything about it. I want to take a shot. Give me a shot, and I will not disappoint you because I'm hardcore, I'm driven, determined, I'm strong, I'm intelligent. And I can deal with all the stress you throw at me, and the more stress you throw at me, the better it gets. But y'all people are the ones out here that vote. You're the one that makes the decision. want me in there, I appreciate it. And I'd like your vote, because I'm gonna do something. And I'm not gonna be complacent, I'm not gonna sit still. Like I said, my name is Eric Ligon, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your vote, thank you.
I want to have a talk with the secretary, but anyway, our next office is sheriff. The three candidates are all here. We'll take them in alphabetical order. The people of this area has put in questions, and I took the two. When you ask anybody around this area, they will say that enforcement of the laws of the Magnolia Bridge is the most important thing in this area to most people. When you get away from this area, if you get over to McKinnon, they say enforcement is ATV laws. And I've had people, there should be some people here that came from another part of the county because they want to hear what the candidates say about that. They're a problem. But now, I'm not going to repeat that. Now, I'll let the three candidates speak, and each one of them can choose to address those problems or not address them as they like. First one would be our present sheriff, Darrell House.
Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you to the community center, and thanks for everybody being here. This is a great turnout. First of all, I'd like to take you up on some hula lessons. I've never been able to do that. That would be great.
That's great, it means good George.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 years ago, I won a very close election in this county. The night of that election, I told the newspaper that I would have to earn the respect of the community, that I would have to get out and work, and I'd have to do a good job in order to get a second term. I have great respect for Sheriff Barnes. Sheriff Barnes was in there for a long time. I understand the hardships he went through and the things that he had to go through while he was in office, and he spent a long time in law enforcement, and that's difficult for anybody. If you've never done it, it's very difficult. Kevin Suggs, he spent a lot of time as well. He is a long-time officer giving himself to his communities. The hardest part about being a law enforcement officer or being the sheriff is the difficulties that it puts on your families. You have to give yourself, you have to give your all, and Sheriff Barnes can attest to this, you have to give your all to serve your community. You have to give yourself day and night. And I've done my very best to try to do that for each and every one of anybody that's required my services during the 4 years that I've been in office. When I was elected, I told everybody that I would hit the ground running, and that's what we did. We hit the ground running hard. We made the largest marijuana bust in Houston County history. I don't say that to brag, I say that because we have a problem. We have a problem here that I address on a daily basis with my people. We work very hard to try to stem the drug use and the drug production in this county, but it's very, very difficult to do, but we do the very best job that we can do. I've tried my best to save the county as much money as possible. I've worked with the county government very closely, and I think we've worked very well together. We've solved a lot of problems through our work together, and I think we've made a difference there. I've been able to stay within my budgets, and we've improved the training at the sheriff's office for the officers, and just thinking about what some of the other candidates have said, I agree with Mr. Reed. I don't know if he stepped out, but we are forgotten in Houston County. And I learned that very well by going up to the State Sheriff's Association meetings. When funding comes along, Houston County's at the bottom of the list. You've got to pretty much fend for yourself. So in order to do that, what I did was I took great advantage of a surplus program to the federal government. We were able to take property from the federal government, take possession of that property, use it at the sheriff's office, and then if we couldn't use it at the end of a year, we could sell that property. To date, we've used about $1.5 million worth of property from the federal government. what we weren't able to use. After the year we sold that property, I was able to boost the drug fund up to $175,000 in that neighborhood, and I was able to purchase vehicles and equipment for this county out of that drug fund that didn't cost you a dime. That's pretty good, I would say. We've worked really hard to save you dollars. To address some of the questions that was asked in enforcement at Magnolia, to date, there's been about 35 calls to Magnolia.
4 minutes.
There's been about 35 calls to Magnolia since I took office. Most of those have been just calls of suspicious activity and things going on where when the officer arrived, the people were already gone. We do everything that we can to patrol the Magnolia area. We try to make sure that it's a good family environment. Since the county's gotten it cleaned up and the drug lines, we work close with them. And I think that it's a great place for the community to come down and enjoy. Four-wheelers and off-road vehicles, you just got to be there when they go by. And if you see them and you are able to contact them, then you can enforce the law as needed when that occurs. They are a big problem. We need to address that. There's been some legislation on recreational areas that allows them in certain areas and not in other areas.
5 minutes, Chair.
And that's what we'll do with them. Thank you very much for your time. Wish I had more time. I know I talk slow, but I appreciate your vote, your support, and look forward to serving you another 4 years. Thank you.
Dennis Lawrence is next. You heard the question.
Yes, sir. Like everybody else, I want to thank you for coming tonight and supporting the White Oak Community Center when they do this. Thank you for showing up and for your attendance. I won't take a lot of time, because most of you know me. As Darrell mentioned, or Sheriff Robinson mentioned, that I've worked about 25 years in law enforcement here in Houston County. I started as a deputy sheriff under Sheriff Jimmy Mobb in 1986. I worked there until 1991, became chief of police of Tennessee Police Department. And I worked there until I was elected my first term in 1998 as sheriff. Served 3 terms as your sheriff from 98 to 2010, and then the last election as Sheriff Robinson alluded to, I lost a close election to him. Over the past 4 years, I guess, that I've been out, as I said, I spent a lot of time in law enforcement, 25 years, but over the last 4 years I've been out, I always look at things before from a law enforcement perspective. Because I've been in law enforcement my whole life. My dad worked 35 years in law enforcement. My brother, well, he started 2 years before I did. He's still in office. He's a federal officer right now. So that's what my whole life grew up in law enforcement. And I always looked at things from a perspective, from a law enforcement perspective. The last 4 years I've had the opportunity, it's actually been good that I've been out for 4 years. Now I look at things, and as far as enforcement from a citizen's point, like your point, that I didn't have that 4 years ago. And when I was in office, I always worked hard to work for the people, for you as the citizens. And you elected me and put me in a position which Mr. Walker said that the sheriff's position is an important position. It's really not any more important than Cheryl's or George's or the county commissioners or any, we're all elected officials. And in saying that, I want to get to the questions. I want to address those issues while I can for it. I don't think I'll run out of time. But when I was in office, after that, the county made Magnolia a park. We was able to put an officer there for 8 hours on the weekend in the busiest times. 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, and we made great strides in making that a family park by having somebody there all the time. And then you all know that the officer's presence, then they're not going to be violating those rules that are set up. The county's got posted. Excuse me. So we made great strides in that. In in talking to some of you, as I've been coming around to your houses and asking for your vote, that was some of the things I've heard. It's not always like that, you know. It's one of the rules, there's no drinking, no alcohol down there, and there's been, I guess, people drinking alcohol. So I personally haven't been there, but I'm just hearing what people told me. And you know, you can't have somebody there all the time. And it's like, say, you have a citizen complaint, and you try to get there and take care of that complaint. Now, and the four-wheelers, ATVs on the highway, it is a problem. You know, it's a problem at my house, it's a problem here, it's a problem at the east end of the county. It's a problem everywhere. And a lot of the times, it's just that you get the call of complaint and the officer gets there, they're not there anymore. Most of the times, it's like I see the ones that come by my house, sometime later they'll be coming back. So what we would do to address that issue, I guess, it would be extra patrol in that area. If they wasn't there when they first got there for the complaint, then we'd have the officer stay there, or as much as he could, to try to see if he could get them coming back. Now, I've been working on a program since I've been the past 4 years, which I call it Adopt a Neighborhood.
4 minutes.
And I got it off the Adopt a Highway and a Neighborhood Watch. Those community programs are normally based trying to get the community involved. My program is to get the officers involved with the communities. And it would be, and I can't give you all the logistics of it because I'm running out of time, but it would be basically an officer would be assigned to let's just say district, a 7 district, assigned an officer to district, and that officer would be responsible for that district for a period of time. The deputies would rotate so that all communities could get to know all the officers. And for instance, they have meetings here, whatever officer is assigned here, then that officer would come here and be a liaison between the sheriff's office and the community center and the communities at large. And they would bring back their concerns, and then we could address them better. And I think the community needs to know the officers, not just the sheriff's office. All right, thank you. Well, I won't go over anymore. If you have any questions about the program I want to do, just feel free to call me. My number's in the book, and call me or ask me after. Be glad to answer any questions. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Kevin Sutton.
Hello, my name is Kevin Sugg. My mother and daddy was late Jack and Dale Sugg, and I'm the brother of late Keith Sugg. I've got around 28 plus years in law enforcement. I started here as native under Mr. Tim Lobby's part-time, rolled up and I went to TVA, the permanent layoff of TVA Public Safety, moving over into Dixon. It's really where my career started. I've done everything from protection programs. I've attended up to 60 different specialized training. Within that training, I have got to come back and challenge the state for instructor in them areas. I've taught at the police academy. I still freelance today. Some of the problems I'm looking at for our future, I would like to be the first sheriff of Houston County to implement the first farm program in this community. If we can do this farm program, get enough behind to do this farm program, we can feed it in the jails. We've got people out here that could use that extra groceries. We all know this. And little programs like that. Bringing back the neighborhood watch programs. I've been looking into programs where we can get programs in the school. It's state funded. Now, Mr. Barnes, Mr. Alice has told you, it is tough thing, but it's something that we've got to stick with and stay with. Children are going to be our future. I want to keep them here and keep them as safe as possible. Get these officers in the school is very productive, and they don't forget you. Going around the county, I found that some questions was asking me, it was accountability. Now, I don't believe any elected office, once you get in there, you're shielded with office, you've got to get out. And I'm not saying any candidate that I run against does not. This is just me. I'm going to get out, and I'm going to work. I've always had to work. In 1995, I was lucky enough to get transferred down to Shelby District. Now, to me, with Shelby District, go as far west as you can, and there you are. I've worked everything from Brownsville to
to Memphis and on Hollow Troll, and I got to see the problems there. I got to see all the bad was there and some of the good was there. And I cannot tell you folks how blessed, how good it is to be back home. I'm a neighbor here, I've got some family here, I've got a lot of friends here, and it's growing every day. I want to thank you for my campaign. I've been going out and knocking on doors. Every one of them has been real good to me. Y'all just don't know how thankful I am for that. There's no part in Erin, Tennessee, or in Houston County that's more important to me than the rest of them. I've enjoyed myself right here just like I did on the east and the extreme west into this county. I believe through scheduling and we can help the manpower issue without bringing on a lot more taxing in our county taxes. I believe just a minor adjustment of scheduling and get these things done. Any crime, certainly mostly, and I think any law enforcement officer tell you, is being seen. Being accountable, answer the phones, make that call. As far as the four-wheelers operation, it is a recreational vehicle, but as you know, some of the farmers here, when I got to talk about this, they operate off these vehicles to feed and go farm to farm. However, my thing is, I feel like if somebody is misusing that ordinance, that person's right, that's the ones that we're looking for. And we have a lot of people coming out of town from Nashville, Clark, from places that have residences down here at the river that depend on that recreation that they can't get in that city. And I think if we could come to some terms of safety and put some programs in effect, I think we can work that out. I'd much rather look at the stealing and drug dealing right off the rate. Because we got it. And it goes hand in hand, raise it down, and they take from you, they take from Kevin. And that's my piece on that. And I think we need to look at that. It's going to affect our children one day.
10 seconds.
Sorry.
10 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Would y'all like to take a drink? After all these speeches, I need one myself. Yeah, 10 minutes and we have tea.
Yeah, we have tea and cokes and cookies.
Tea, coke, and cookies. We're starting now with the superintendent of roads. We have 3 people here in alphabetical order. First will be Mr. George Hughes. Now, here is a question that the people in this area have asked, and it's pretty important. We've got some roads over here that we had, I think, 2 roads of 2 miles plus that were pretty rough, and the county took possession of them, put in, rocked them, spent a lot of money on them. People right here are living, so you can't get their little bit. Now, that is the #1 question that everybody wanted with to use 3. Well, I say 3. Richardson here, the 3rd candidate. Okay, there's only 2 here. Now, that's the question. You can address it or not. It's up to you. Address it or not address it. That's the #1 question. 5 minutes.
Don't know me, I'm George Hughes. Run for road superintendent. I was born and raised in this county, and I've been with the highway department for 27 years. I was a supervisor for 20, and I've worked on paving, bridges, hardship, and if I'm elected, I'll strive to improve our road system in Houston County. These roads that they're talking about, if they own the road system, I'll do whatever it takes to keep them up. You know, that's all I got. I appreciate y'all's vote. That's all I got to say. Thank y'all.
We have a prize for shortest speech.
You gotta win now. I'm expecting whoever the winner is to die. Well, you'll have to wait. I'll have to write you out.
I'm a current highway superintendent. I'm born and raised in Houston County. I would like to thank the White Oak Community Center for the invitation and the hard work they do. I want to introduce my wife, Patricia, my sister Kathy, my sister-in-law Brenda Sugg, and my brother-in-law Barry Sugg are here with me tonight. My first cousin, Norma Davis, is here with me tonight. I've got a few things about me. I'm a native of Houston County, I already said. I'm a member of Campground Church, a member of the Chamber of Commerce, graduated Houston County Leadership, a member of the Air Rotary Club. I have served as the secretary and president of the Region 3. I was secretary of the State Highway Officials Association. I am a certified elected official. I put in about 4 years going to classes to get certified, to learn about grant programs, personnel management. I worked for an engineering company 34 years before I came to the highway department 8 years ago. Some of the projects that I worked on in Houston County before I was highway superintendent, I helped to build an air and water treatment plant in 1970. We remodeled that plant twice while I was working for an engineering company. I helped build a Dover water treatment plant. In the past 40 years, I paved every street here in Tennessee Ridge, Dover, most of them twice. Cumberland City, I was in Cumberland City the other night. The street that we paved 30 years ago, we're still driving on that street and doing resurface since. Worked on the widening of Fort Campbell Boulevard. Some of the things that I've done as highway superintendent was I worked to be awarded a limited resource status for Houston County, which changes our grant match money from 25% to 10%. That's a lot of money. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the last 4 years, we've had 5 declared disasters in Houston County. I'm sure everybody that lives in this community remembers when any branch washed away. For those 5 declared disasters, we've got over $2 million in federal funds. And the way that works, they don't just fly over an airplane and say, here's $2 million. It's hard work. Thanks to Mr. John White from this community, who was the former Tennessee Emergency Management Director. He came to the Highway Department in 2010, learned a tremendous amount about FEMA, how to apply that money. We're working right now on a federal disaster for the ice storm back in spring. If I'm elected to highway superintendent's office, I promise to do everything I've done in the past as good as I've done. I've worked on every road in this county since I've been highway superintendent. We had 3.5 inches of rain over the weekend. We had 1 work order. A lot of that is from the bigger pipes. Better ditch pulling will be done with federal dollars. The roads that are taken into the county, the roads that have been taken into this county, it's my job to maintain. Whether I like it or not, If it's taken, it's a county road, my job's to maintain it. I know that that's the way it is. I've done the best I can do to maintain those new roads. If you drive around the county, every road in the county, has crushed run stone on maintenance, which is a great improvement over creek gravel. Creek gravel's as far as old building material is on the line. I appreciate it. I want to solicit your vote. If you have guys to appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, moving now to the race. Well, first, there is a third candidate for Superintendent Road, Richardson. I don't have him checked in. Is he here? Not here, okay. Okay. Commissioner, District 1, taking them by alphabetical order, William Agee. We have 3 candidates that's checked in is here. 1 did not. The questions that we have for commissioners, number 1, of course, is the same thing to ask them about the road, taking in these roads that are substandard and spending money on where they've been developed, some developed. The second thing is the county hospitals. Those are the 2 questions. William, you can address those or not. So those are the questions that you've asked me. Go ahead.
Thank y'all for having me here. I'm William Agee. I'm one of your commissioners in District 1 right now. I've been one of the commissioners going on 8 years now, and I've had a good working relationship with GE and the other commissioners. Really enjoyed it. As far as these roads, the ones on the development, one reason we took those in is hopefully it's going to raise the taxes on the land that's in there, and the county will get more money from the taxes it's brought in, and help the county out on the tax money right there. And you know, in the long run, hopefully it's going to pay off. And then, what was the other question?
Hospital.
A hospital, yes. The other thing, on the hospital, we all worked hard to save it because it's got so many people in the county employed there, and if we lose that hospital, they're going to lose jobs. They're going to have to leave the county, look for other places for employment, and we just want to try to keep everybody at home, make it a hometown thing for a hospital for us. It's for the whole community. That way everybody's got somewhere they can call their place when they go to the hospital. And as far as me, I've been still out myself. You know, when I started out as a commercial fisherman when I got first elected, and ended up having to get a real job. I'm a pipe fitter working in different places. So I don't get to see people as much now as I did when I was a commercial fisherman. I get to see them on my days off and when I can get in and run into people. I don't get to get out like I did when I was a commercial fisherman, but I still wish you'd give me your support, and I'd like to be your county commissioner again. Thank you.
Our second, George, you're.
I'd have been short, man. They suck. I lost my home.
Thank you, folks, for having me here. I want to appreciate the chance to talk to you. I'm going to go to these 2 questions here later. I want to talk to the candidates. Too often, people run for an office because for selfish reasons. And we have too much of that in this county. We need to have officials that are going to read the materials, study the materials, ask questions, get answers, and if you don't know the issue, then you should not vote on it. You should pass. You should study and do not give away your vote for a cousin, a father, a neighbor, whatever. There's too much of that going on, and we need to stop it because in the long run, it kills us. Financially, kills us. That goes to the road department thing here. We approved, under a lot of pressure, a road down here for a developer who's got lots of money, but he expected the county to pay for his road so he can make $10 million.
You know, that just is not right. Anywhere else, any other county, any other city, the developer pays for the improvements to the road, puts the road in to the specs, and then turns it over to the municipality. And then oftentimes, that developer is supposed to maintain it for a period of 3 to 5 years. Well, this was railroaded through. I was the only one that voted against it, and I'm going to vote against it every time something like that comes up. Now, going to the hospital's going to cost us money, folks. There's no question about it. These new Obamacare rules and laws, everybody is affected by that. You know, you're paying more money for premiums, et cetera, and so on. The hospital is going to be a problem for us. We want to keep it. I'm 100% for keeping it. It's going to cost us in our pockets, but let me tell you, it's going to help us all. The older we get, I'm 71, you know, I want that hospital, and I'm sure everybody here who's over 13 wants that hospital. But be prepared to start seeing some budget increases over the next couple of years to help that hospital. We have some good people there, some bad people there. We need to get it right and run it right, and I believe that's going to happen. It's going to take time. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask me? Thank you.
These commissioners move right along here. I have one other name on here that checked in, Mr. Wood. There's another person that's a candidate that hadn't checked in. Is Dale Pop here? Okay, well, we'll move along then, Mr. Wood.
Excuse me, I'm nervous. This is my first time doing this. My name is Ricky Wood, and I work for the Highway Department for 10 years. And I'm running for Commissioner of District 1, and I surely appreciate y'all's vote. And I'll do my very best to make everybody happy. And like I said, it's my first time running, and I don't know nothing about them issues, but it will be checked on because I'm elected. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
That concludes our commissioners that are candidates for District 1. Jim's going to run, did you?
No, I'm already.
You might want to address the crowd. Okay, County Court Clerk, again, alphabetical order, Judy Ferris.
My name's Judy Wright Ferris. I've been down here for 23 years, originally from Michigan. For the past 20 years, I've worked for the Honorable Sid Vincent as the magistrate for the Houston County. A lot of people know me by my face or by my name, and you know that way. My parents was James Earl and Helen Wright. They're both deceased. So a lot of people probably knew my grandfather, Nolan Wright. I'm running for the circuit court clerk. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I would be interested and be happy to get your vote.
Sharon Thomas.
I'd give her
I want to thank the White Oak community for having all the candidates here tonight so we can introduce ourselves for those of you who do not know us. I also want to make a challenge to each of you that are here. We have a donation basket on the table here. Each person needs to donate to help pay for the treats that they have served us tonight. I am Sharon Tomlinson, and I have been your circuit court clerk for the last 8 years. I am married to Donald Ray Tomlinson. I have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, all reside here in the county. I have tried very hard to maintain a courteous and friendly office. I've tried to be helpful in every way. Our office is always open to the public, not only to come in for a problem that you have, but anytime you have a question or a need and you want to come in and just visit in the office, you're always welcome. Sometimes it's rather hectic, but we always welcome you. There are many aspects to the office of circuit court. As the name implies, we do criminal and civil cases for circuit court. However, that's only one aspect. We also have General Sessions Court. It also has civil and criminal cases. It does all the traffic court for the county outside of the city of Erin. We have juvenile court. That also is civil and criminal court, and it also entails child support court. The Office of Circuit Court is very complex. It is one of the busiest offices in the courthouse. As an example, we had scheduled a 2-week circuit civil trial. That trial went to 3 weeks. I got to work each day at 7:15. I was there each night until 8 to 8:30. It was a very long 3 weeks. During that time, the other courts had to proceed. What we had to do, because we only had one courtroom, of course, is we had to go over to the city of Erin and borrow their courtroom and have General Sessions Court over there. So it's very hard to keep it all together when you have trials going on like that. We have criminal trials all the time. This was my first big civil case, so it was very educational, I might say. Another aspect of our office, as many of you know, is jury duty. And I wanted to address this because I have many, many questions about jury duty. What most of the people are not aware of is that the laws pertaining to jury service has changed. The state legislature changed the law in January of 2012. Now, the law no longer allows those of a certain age or a profession to automatically be excused. Doesn't matter if you're 75 years old or if you're 80 years old. You are still in the running to come to jury duty. But it also doesn't matter if you're a doctor or an attorney. You're still getting called to jury service. It also doesn't matter if you are a family member of the clerk. My husband has been called. Both my daughters have been called. My daughters have actually served. My son has been called. My brother-in-laws, everybody in my family whose name comes out of that computer, they are called just like the rest of you. Now, I have called members from the sheriff's office. They have served on jury duty. On this 3-week civil trial, had a young man from the sheriff's office on the jury panel. It doesn't matter who you are, what your status is, you're still going to get called to jury duty. I also want to explain to you that it doesn't have anything to do with being a registered voter. What it has to do is the Department of Safety. They put all the names into the computer, and I just punch a button, and I say I want 350 names, whoosh, I get 350 names. Those are the people who are called to jury service. You can ask one of your men here, Mr. George Terham. He was called to jury service. He came faithfully, just like he was supposed to. He didn't have the opportunity to sit on the jury panel, but he was there and he did his part. Now, if you have any questions about jury duty, because I know it is very confusing, please feel free to call me at home. You can call me at the office. I may not be able to talk to you very long there. But you can call me at home or you can speak with me tonight after this, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. I also realize one of the aspects of jury service is that it disrupts our lives. When it does that, we think, oh me, I have to do this, I have to do that. Let me tell you what one judge said, Judge Larry Wallace said to me. The case before us today may seem unimportant to us, but to the people who are involved in this case, it is the most important case in their life. Again, let me say, I strive to maintain a well-organized office, and I just ask that you will continue to put your trust and confidence in me, and please re-elect me as your circuit court clerk. Thank you.
We have a late arrival who is a candidate for a judge, and he asked that he could address you in a minute, so we'll give the floor to him now.
Is there a question for us?
Don't have questions, John.
Hello, y'all. My name is Jack Arnold. Sorry I was late. I'm one of y'all's candidates for circuit court judge. That's the same position that Ms. Lockard, Mash, and Mr. Powers already spoke to y'all about. Just a few things about myself. I live in Cheatham County with my wife and our daughter. I'm an Iraq war veteran. Spent some time in the U.S. Army, most of that at the 10th Mountain Division. Worked as an intelligence analyst and an Arabic linguist. Right now I'm a small business owner. I've got a private practice, legal practice in Ashland City, Tennessee. I do mostly criminal defense, but I've had cases in chancery and in civil cases as well. I've had cases as far west as Chester and Carroll County, and as far east as Wilson and Sevier County. I love being an attorney. I love the law. I love justice and fairness. And I think I've got the disposition and the skills and abilities it would take to be a good circuit court judge. Now, my wife would kill me if I didn't mention this. We brought some little like cups and pens and refrigerator magnets. And so there's some information about me in there and a link to the website and everything. If y'all wouldn't mind taking one of those with you as you go, I'd really appreciate it, just as long as you read the information in there. If you're interested in the campaign, check us out on the internet. Get in touch with us. Let us know. Maybe you're willing to put up a yard sign. But don't ask about contributions or anything like that. I'm not taking any contributions. I'm not, my wife is treasurer, but she's not accepting them. We're not soliciting them. Just keep your money in your pockets. I appreciate y'all's vote on August 7th, and I really appreciate you guys for giving us the opportunity to talk to all y'all. This is a really kind of an amazing event, if you really think about it. As many of these as I can go to, I'd love to go to. So thank you very much for y'all's time.
One of the gentlemen in the audience wanted me to either let him get up and speak or to just urge these candidates to back up what they said when and if they're elected, and I think I'll choose the latter on that one. So with that, I'll say the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you for coming. It's been a good group here. Y'all have been very polite to these candidates, and we really appreciate it.